Good morning. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Good. Hi. Well, I have a story to tell you this morning that this is a true story. This story actually happened. Now, it probably didn't happen exactly as I'm going to tell it, because what happens with stories is that they change with the telling. But it starts, do you know what this is a map of? This is a map of Canada. And do you know where we live on this map? Where is it, Sarah? Yeah, just right here. See, there's Kelowna. Lake Country is too small to be on the map. But Kelowna is there, so we know approximately where we are. Well, this story, and I wonder if you know there's something happening today that's happening all over the world. The Terry Fox Run, yeah. And this is the story about Terry Fox. And he was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Do you know where Manitoba is? No? Well, if you go from where we are way over to here, there's Manitoba, and there's Winnipeg. So he was born there, and that was back in 1958. 1958. In fact, he would have had his 60th birthday this summer. Imagine. Anyway, he was born there, and he had an older brother, and a younger brother, and a younger sister. And he was born there, but when he was 12 years old, his family moved out to Vancouver.
His brother's name was Daryl.
Daryl. He had a brother, Daryl, and his older brother was Fred. And his sister's name was Judith. So he moved, when he was 12, he moved out with his family to Vancouver, out here. And that's where he met his best friend, Doug, who they would be best friends for all of his life. They started in school together and through his life. So this is Doug. And Terry would always say, I like challenges, and I never give up. And he dreamed of being a professional basketball player. The problem was, he was really bad at it. Really bad at it. And Daryl wasn't any better at it. But they spent their summers playing basketball from morning till night, because Terry never gives up. And he was determined that he was going to be a good basketball player. Well, it turned out that the year he graduated high school, he and Doug, not only were they playing on the school basketball team, but they were both awarded Athlete of the Year.
Wow.
Both of them. Because Terry never gave up. Well, a year after he graduated high school, he started to have pain in his leg. And when he went to the doctor, it turned out he had bone cancer. And so at 18 years old, he had to go into the hospital and have his right leg taken off. Imagine. And he cried a lot. And I think we all would, to have something like that happen so young. He cried a lot. But he wouldn't give up. And he had a plan for his life. And he knew it would be harder with one leg, but he was going to do it anyway. And within a few weeks, the doctors had made him what's called a prosthesis. It was an artificial leg, and it allowed him to walk again. And when he left the hospital, after a long time in the hospital, he was changed. I mean, he was changed physically because he was missing a leg, but he was also changed inside because he saw all these people, from young children through to adults, that all had cancer. And they were suffering. And he decided, as he left the hospital, that he wanted to find a way to cure cancer so that no one else had to suffer with this. And his dream, he decided, was to run across Canada. He was going to fly out to Newfoundland, way out on this side, and he was going to run all the way across. Well, there's some places where he'd have to take a ferry because there's water between, but that's part of the story. So he knew he had to build up his strength if he was going to do that. I mean, he was just learning how to walk again. And he learned how to walk, and some of you will remember this because you probably watched the marathon. Mm-hmm. This leg had the artificial leg, and so what he would do is he would go, and that's how he learned to get around. Wow. After a few months, he ran in his first marathon, and he came in dead last. But he didn't give up. He was going to run across Canada. And so, in 1980, when he was 21 years old, he and Doug flew out to Newfoundland, and they got a van there. And Doug drove the van, and Terry ran beside it every day, about 42 kilometers every day. So that's like running from here to almost to Peachland. You know where Peachland is? Yeah. Can you imagine running that far every day? Rain, really hot weather. Anyway, so he started across. When they got to so they started in Newfoundland, and they went through Nova Scotia. They got to New Brunswick, and then Terry's younger brother, Daryl, joined them. So he was also there. And as they started to cross, people started to come out to see him. They couldn't believe this young guy was running across Canada, and he only had one leg. And so crowds came out, and money started to come in to support his run for cancer. And he said that some days it was all pain, and it hurt, and he would be blistered and bloody, but he wouldn't give up. Sometimes he did trip. So he ran all the way through the eastern provinces, through Quebec, Ontario, and at Thunder Bay, which is right here, which is about the middle point of Canada, he got sick. He had already run 5,344 kilometers. Imagine. But he was too sick to continue. He had to go home and get well. But his plan was to go home and get well, and then come back and finish the run. And so he ended up in the hospital. Between the start of his run and the time that he had stopped his run, he'd raised over $24 million. And he was showered with honors and good wishes. But on June 28th, 1981, he was just a month before his 23rd birthday, and he died. He got another cancer, yeah. He couldn't finish his run but he didn't give up. And you know how much money has been raised so far from his run? $750 million. And now that run to honor him happens all over the world every year, and it's happening right now as we're gathering here. I wonder why he would try to do something that was so hard to do.
Is his friend still alive?
Yes. Yeah, Doug's still alive. Doug still participates in the runs. He's old, yeah. He's my age. Yeah, well, that's our story. And so as we think about that, we're going to sing the song that we started singing last week. And then you can head off with Michelle to Children's Church. So the earth is our cradle.